let's get the thoughts now, shall we, of Dr. Thanos Isakis, who's a neurosurgeon consultant at Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and also Mohammed Wasim from the Dawat-e-Islami organisation, which runs educational workshops in the Midlands, all about the dangers of laughing gas. Gentlemen, a very good evening to both of you. Thanks for your time. Perhaps we can start with you, Doctor. This government review, then, stopping short of recommending a ban, is that disappointing?
I think it is. The laughing gas is very dangerous, and the public need to be fully aware of the risk of using it. I'm a neurosurgeon consultant, and as a neurosurgeon, I have personally I've seen 3 patients lately. 2 of them almost died, and one, unfortunately, has been paralyzed from the neck downwards. And another patient came under the care of one of my colleagues, which actually presented with significant intracranial brain bleed. And the outcome, as you can understand, is not really favorable. I think there has to be a significant awareness for the public to understand what are the risks of this substance.
Yeah, I mean, Doctor, these are incredibly serious effects that you're seeing on young people. I mean, do you think the government does need to go further in how the sale of this gas is allowed to be taking place? Because we know it's happening in corner shops.
I believe yes, that's my answer. Having seen patients that they were like in their 20s, 2 of them, they came under my care with actually symptoms losing their vision, and actually was the acute and really quick response of the team of Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and we managed actually for these 2 to preserve the vision. However, there were a couple of more of them that actually didn't have any favorable outcome. So I believe that the government has to push forward and potentially come with more drastic measurements.
Yeah, well, let's speak to Mohammed, because you're working with youngsters who are trying this gas and experimenting with it. Do you think a ban is what's needed?
The recommendations from the government this morning, we have seen the report, and one of the recommendations is more education, and that's exactly what my organisation, Dawat-e-Islami, is doing. We've got approximately 85 centres in the United Kingdom, and over the last couple of weeks, we've raised awareness to tens of thousands of people. And something that we have seen is that there's 2 main objectives of our campaign. This is exactly why we launched our campaign. The first objective was that many young people are taking this gas, but unfortunately they have no idea of the consequences of taking this gas. And that's exactly where we are working with young people to educate them. But on the other hand, many young adults, many parents, they see these canisters, and so many people have come to us. We've seen these canisters on our streets, but unfortunately we don't know what it is. But it's because of our campaign that people are now becoming educated. So I think education is the way forward, that we just educate people on the harms of taking nitrous oxide. Because like the doctor just mentioned, that many people, many young people especially, are ending up in hospital at this moment in time, paralyzed, maybe for a short period of time, maybe for long term. So it's very, very important to educate the young people as well as our wider community regarding the harms of nitrous oxide.
Yeah, you make a very good point, Mohammed. I mean, it's very common now, isn't it? When I go walking the dogs in the park, I see these little canisters that are littering the pavement. But one of the issues is the canisters have got so much bigger, haven't they?
That's right. We had a workshop yesterday, and Dr. David Nicol, he actually came with some examples of some canisters. And they started that small, and the public, the young people especially that were present in the workshop, they were absolutely shocked at how they've gone from there to huge canisters. And unfortunately, many young people are taking huge amounts of these nitrous oxide. And just a few weeks ago, I was speaking to one young individual, and this individual mentioned that I took one whole bottle, and a few hours later, he ended up in A&E, and the doctor actually said to him that you're lucky to be alive. So people see it as a laughing matter. It's honestly not a laughing matter. It's taking many people into hospitals. It's damaging the lives of many young people at this moment in time.
And Doctor, we're hearing people becoming paralysed as a result of using this. You've explained some of the awful symptoms. Is it addictive?
It seems so. Having spoken to these patients, actually, all of them, they were telling me that day after day, they were just wanted more and more. They ended up actually using massive amount of this laughing gas. everybody has to be aware that actually the effects last much longer than actually the short term of being high. So we really have to educate these people, and I think they should come from the government quite more significant and more powerful actually measurements, because the outcomes of these patients are quite significant. I have seen patients getting blind. I have seen patients being paralyzed, and they're very young. And recently I've seen even patients coming with brain bleeds.
And it can attack the spinal column as well, I understand.
Correct. I mean, to be honest with you, most of the times that the patients came in my own call, we didn't really know what we were actually dealing with. And this information came mostly from families and friends. Unfortunately, the patients per se, they never actually told us about this laughing gas. And you were trying to explore other kinds of conditions that are causing this kind of swelling of the cord or potentially the brain. Now, but having excluded everything else, we came to the conclusion that this laughing gas was causing disastrous conditions for the brain and the spinal cord.
Yeah, just awful, isn't it? And Mohammed Wasim, I was reading today about a very concerning trend where people are inhaling the gas from balloons while behind the wheel.
Just coincidentally, I spoke to someone yesterday, and because he knew about our campaign, he actually said to me that I was just driving, and the car on my left-hand side, it was red lights, and he literally stopped at the red lights, and he was inhaling this particular gas. And a few seconds later, he started to drive. Now, this person, his responses were very slow, and obviously this is why in the West Midlands, unfortunately, we've seen many accidents that have happened due to taking nitrous oxide and then immediately driving. So my message to any young people that are watching at this moment in time is that it's not a laughing matter, and especially driving whilst under the influence of this gas is very, very dangerous, not only for yourself, but for the pedestrian and for those that are just doing their normal activities in life.
Yeah, and just finally, Mohammed, are you confident that your message is getting across in the workshops you're running? Do you believe that youngsters are listening?
Yes, so our message has reached tens of thousands of people in the UK. And one positive thing that I've seen after our workshops, after Friday sermons and various other speeches, that many young people have come to us, and they've said to us that, yes, we were taking the gas, but now that we know about the harms of taking this gas, we're not going to be going anywhere near it, especially with real-life stories that we have mentioned. So education is very, very important, and that's exactly what Dawat-e-Islami will continue to do in the coming weeks and the coming months.
Good. Well,